What was out of the ones that went solo? I remember the Crazy Bone one the most, and I think Busy Bone. Did you work on any of those?
I did Busy's album, The Gift.
Okay.
Then I did Lazy's album, Against the Grain. Then I did the Mo Thugs stuff. And I was cutting a bunch of records. Like some of the records are still in vault somewhere. I don't know, but 18 of them came out at that time.
Okay.
Like on all these different projects. The Resurrection album. Then stuff later came out on Bone Thugs' Greatest Hits, movie soundtracks, Down to Earth, that we worked on. So just a whole bunch of stuff came out at one time.
Gotcha. Okay. And then how did it go from that to working with Crooked I before the whole Death Row thing?
Well, even before I started working with Bone Thugs, I was working with Big C Style had came to a studio that I was working at with my buddy Dave Knight, and we just were working out of a garage in Anaheim. And he heard the beats. He was like, "Yo, man, I gotta bring my artist down here." And Crooked I was his artist. And so Dave started working with Crooked I, and then I would go in and play keys and stuff. And then Big C Style was like, "Yo, I want you to do," Crooked I ended up getting a record deal from the stuff at Virgin. And, C Style had me come up to like Echo Sounds and do a bunch of beats. I think I did like five beats for them at that time, And C Style was always dope because C Style would pay me right on the spot.
Okay.
He's like, come to the studio. He gave me like a bag of thousands of dollars, dude. Like, and like, he was like, here you go, And I did a song with like Crooked I and Bo Rock that I saw as leaked, And 5 different songs. I don't know whatever happened to those songs because the deal ended up falling through at Virgin. And then me and Crooked just kept working together. We're like, fuck that,
Yeah.
And we started working on the Untouchable Cali album together.
Okay.
And we made a whole album together.
Yeah.
So then Suge started hearing about the stuff that I was doing with him and everything.
Yeah.
And I had already been paid from Death Row from earlier.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to get into. You did, you produced a song that was going to be on the LBC Crew album, correct?
Yeah, it ended up coming out on the Dogfather.
Okay, how did that come about? How did you
Same thing. That was Big C Style again. It was a beat that I had done with my buddy Dave, and he called me it's a funny story. He called me from Can-Am Studios one day, and it wasn't him, it was Snoop on the phone.
Okay.
And this is when Snoop was like, just blew up. He was huge, right? And I'm just in my apartment making beats or whatever. He's like, yo, what's up? Did you make this beat? And he's playing. I'm like, who is this? He's like, this is Snoop. I shut the fuck up and I hung up on him. I thought it was one of my friends, Craig, calling me or something, And then C-Style called me back. He's like, hey, cuz, what the fuck you doing, man? That's Snoop. We're at the studio right now. I'm like, oh, shit. He's like, you made this beat, right? You and Dave? I'm like, yeah. He's like, come up to Can-Am right now. If you can, we want to work on it. Yeah. So I grabbed like 4 of my homies and we freaking jumped in the ride and headed up to Can-Am. And I remember walking in the studio at Can-Am and I walked in the first room, I walked in the wrong door, and it was Ice Cube and DJ Quick were in there. In one of the rooms. I remember Ice Cube gave me this look like, what are you doing in here? I was like, oh shit, so, like, what up, you know? And I had known Quick, I had met him a couple times from a homeboy of mine, Zap. So he was like, what's up, man, or whatever, Then we went in the back room in Can-Am, and Dr. Dre was in there. And I got on the keys, and they were playing the beat, And Dre, I remember Dre walking up to me. He's like, "Yo, you did the keys. You made this beat." And I'm like, yeah. He's like, "Man, you're dope, bro." I was like, "Damn, that's fucking sick," Yeah. And I remember DJ Pooh was there that day. The whole Dog Pound, Snoop, LT, because they had just did the "Somebody Beware My Crew" song right before I did my song. Yeah. So.
At that point, had they gotten on the song yet, or they were writing to it?
They were writing to the "Dippin' in My Lolo" song. Okay. Everybody was in the studio and they were just writing. And when I was there, Snoop went in and did the hook. Okay. And I was like, oh, dope! Snoop's getting on it right now.
Yeah. So when you went in, you weren't like you didn't start to like tweak it or change.
No, when I got there, they had my buddy Dave was up there and they had gave him all the stems. We had the machines up there and stuff. Yeah. So we had pretty much laid everything on ADATs first. Okay. And then we were up there dumping from ADAT to 2-inch tape. Gotcha. It was like the standard back then.
Yeah. Okay. So. And then at that point, when they recorded, do they do paperwork releases there, or no? It's just like they just did the song.
There was no paperwork. There was pit bulls in the studio. It was full of like, I mean, I remember you couldn't even see her. There's so much weed smoke in there and shit, you know. So there was no paperwork talked about or nothing. I was just like, at that point, I was like, man, this shit's dope.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was gonna happen with it.
Yeah.
So we do the song and everything, and while I'm there, Big Jake was up there as well, and he was talking to me. And a homeboy of mine, Zap, who's from Compton, and you know, he was from a neighborhood in Compton, Fruittown, and him and Big Jake knew each other. And Jake was like, "Yo, man, you did this shit. I want to work with you. I want to talk with you about all this." I was like, "Cool." Okay. So he was the first, and he was at Death Row. That was like Suge's right hand man at the time. Yeah. So he started contacting me, and he was like, "Yo, I want to manage you." You know what I mean? So he came down to I had an apartment in Santa Ana. And he was coming down. I started working on some beats for him and a guy by the name of Red Rum, R.I.P. Red Rum. Yeah. They came down to my house. We worked on some stuff. And I ended up not knowing when the song was going to come out or whatnot, but it ended up, I remember I got a call from my buddy. He's like, yo, an attorney wants to talk to us to putting that song out. Actually, it already came out. It's on the Dogfather album. I'm like, what? And what's crazy is that same beat, we didn't know if they were ever going to use it or something. My buddy had went and did a deal also with some other major label, so they paid us for the beat as well.
Gotcha.
Because we never heard nothing from Death Row about it.
So it's like whoever uses it first, they got the dibs on it.
At that time. Yeah. And so I remember the attorney called me. He's like, yo, I got a check for you. I'm like, what? He was like, meet me at the Supermex or whatever over here. And he showed up using a Benz and stuff, and he gave me a check for $10,000. For my portion of it, you know, and I was like, I remember I hugged him and dude was like, hey, hold on, what are you doing? But for me, that was like, that at that time, that was like confirmation, like, okay, I can make money with my music. Because at that point, you know, I'm a half white, half Mexican dude from Huntington Beach, and I'm making rap beats. Right. And people are like, dude, what the fuck are you doing, bro? You know, go get a job. I was working at golf courses and shit. Yeah. You know, and that when I got that check, I quit my job. Big Jake was like, yo, Suge wants to sign you to Death Row. I want to do a production deal with you. So I went up to Death Row. I met Kevin Black, who was promotions guy. Big Jake was there. Just introduced me to everybody at the offices and stuff. And he's like, yo, we're going to get the paperwork together. And I'm going to Atlanta. As soon as I get back from Atlanta, I want to sit down with you and Suge, and we're going to sign the deal. Yeah. I'm like, that's super dope. I was super excited. I remember he called me right before he took off. Like, yo, when I get back, it's on. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're going to have a nice production deal. We're working the numbers right now. Yeah. I was super stoked. And then Big Jake went to Atlanta with Suge, and that's when that shit popped off, and he ended up passing away out there. He got shot. How
were you informed that all that happened in Atlanta? Or did you just hear kind of word of mouth?
My homeboy Zap, he called me, he's like, Darren, man, Big Jake, some shit went down and he ain't coming back. Damn. I was like, you gotta be kidding me, dude. You know, he was just at my house like that week. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you know, because he was signing Red Rum too. I was gonna produce an album for Red Rum, was gonna sign to Death Row. Okay. I don't know if he ever got his paperwork done or not. But so he passed away, my deal fell through. Because at that time I hadn't met Suge. Yeah. Suge was in the back when I was in there doing music at Can-Am, I think the first time. But we had never personally like talked. The meeting was supposed to happen to where we just go sign the deal. He was going to meet me and I was going to start work. Yeah. So fell through.
Gotcha.
And I ended up working with Lazy Bone and all them, luckily.
Okay.